This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
We back. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game on this hump day in the Bay. And it's going to be wet out there, folks. It's going to be windy. It's already windy. Scootering in this morning to the building. It's going to be wet. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be dangerous. Please, everyone, stay dry and be safe out there. Don't be aggressive on those roadways. We don't need that. Not in the rain. All right? It's good times right now in the Bay. You know, the Niners are in the Super Bowl. The Warriors got a win last night. Right? The Giants have someone lurking in the horizon, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But we'll stick with the Dubs and the 49ers. And specifically what happened last night at Chase Center as the Golden State Warriors get off the schneid 119-107 over the Philadelphia 76ers to improve to 20-24. At, you know, not the halfway point, a little past it now, but we're 8 days away from the NBA trade deadline. And if they're going to have a little run to show Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob, you know, that we're legit still, we can be a contender in the West, it would have to happen now. It would have to have started last night. It did. You could not lose 3 straight going onto the road. Not saying these opponents coming up are world beaters, but you just could not have that negative momentum on the road. Got the Grizzlies on Friday, Hawks Saturday, Nets Monday, and then at Philly next Wednesday. Those first 3, though, specifically, Grizzlies, Hawks, Nets, got to sweep them. You've got to, at the very least, go 2-1, but this is the point. You're 4 games under 500. It's now or never for the Golden State Warriors this season. They have got to show not only, you know, upper management, show the fans. You guys for real or not? Are we giving up on the season or not? That's what they have to show in this coming week. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all you lovely people out there. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. And again, that's the number to get involved, whether it's call or text the Comcast Business Text line, 888-957-9570. Good morning to the YouTube and Twitch, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game, like, subscribe. We're streaming all day long, 5 a.m. through 7 p.m. right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. Good morning in the chat to Spencer, El Guero, EJ, Damon, Kofefe, Coffee, Ernie, Chavez, the 95.7 The Game Doobie Award winner. Appreciate all y'all. Damon Chang, you Italian stallion, you. Yeah. More like an Italian donkey these days. I'm getting fat. Shout out to Fat. I've just been chilling, man. We don't have a real true winter here in NorCal, but everyone's been basically inside. We've had, 2 straight weeks? It feels like 3 of just rain on and off. And just this past week, you know, these last few days, we had a couple days off where it's like, oh, cool, the outside, that's nice. Go do a little walk, do a little that. Now, my body's like, you're done. You're done, buddy. You're going to full hibernation. You're going to have some Daisy Dips and some Ruffles. You're going to sit your ass on the couch and, you know, pass out to Bluey, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, whatever you're doing. Yeah. The Jiminy Cricket, my conscience was right. I'm not built for this. You hit 30, and then all of a sudden, you know, everything just starts being a little slower. You start, every time you get up, do one of those, start feeling pain where you haven't felt pain before. My knees crack like I'm 85 years old. But enough about the Golden State Warriors. I'm kidding. They got a win last night. You should feel good about that win. Because you should feel good about any win if you're the Golden State Warriors right now. I don't care who the opponent is. You just needed a damn win for the mentals. Losing to the Kings, I'm not going to say is one of your top rivals right now, but there's a lot of trash talk going back and forth between the fan bases. A lot of close games. And that one hurt. And then you lose in double overtime to the Lakers on Saturday, who have now lost 2 in a row since that. One to the Rockets and then last night to the Hawks. Not very good for them, but I know they're going to make moves. What are the moves the Warriors are going to make? I don't know if there's much of a buyer's market right now, and it feels more like a seller's market. I don't know if there's a one name out there. Was it DeJounte Murray? Is that doing it for Warriors fans? They're going to see him, this Saturday. You just saw him recently. Is that the guy? You sure? I mean, at that point, the way Andrew Wiggins has been playing, which has been better, just hold on to him, right? By the way, speaking of Andrew Wiggins, and last night, another efficient game for him. 8 of 10, 23 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. I like those assist numbers. 4 assists, 3 steals. Show me he's been active on the floor. The defense has been there. Jonathan Kaminga, 11-19, 26 points. Those are the 2 guys that have been sniffed around the most when it comes to trades for the Golden State Warriors. Where are we at, Warriors fans, with Kaminga, with Wiggins? How many games in a row now for Kaminga? 20-plus points? 7 or 8, something like that? Thanks, Sam. 7 straight? You got to keep him. And I've been on that. The only way you are parting with him is for a, legit, top 3 piece. And if that was Pascal Siakam for some, okay. But, it was hardcore football season, so we didn't really get into the comments from Pascal Siakam. He didn't really want to come to the Warriors. He had no interest in re-signing with them. So once a player says that or makes their feelings known, you're not going to want to risk that. So what do the Warriors do between now and the NBA trade deadline? What can they show you, Warriors fans? Or, are you like me where, Andrew Wiggins, that's great. He's been having this nice little mini run here. That's awesome. I'm trying to trade him as fast as possible still. If he is on this little mini run during the trade deadline and his value's at an all-time high, hey, I'm good. Am I in a minority here? Or has his recent play, shown you know what, we should keep Andrew Wiggins? Where are we at with him? 888-957-9570, the number, as we're talking Warriors basketball. And don't worry, we'll get back into the Super Bowl. I know the biggest story in America, in the Bay, is the 49ers. George Kittle, Eric Armstead, amongst others, at the game last night. George Kittle fired up, doing a bro hug with Steph at the end of the game. Cool to see. So a little bit of that red and gold magic sprinkling on the Dubs right now. Used to be the other way. The Dubs, they've been the gold standard of winning at the highest level last 10 years. Are the Niners going to start being that? Can they do that? Well, it starts in less than 2 weeks at Allegiant Stadium for them as they take on the evil empire, Darth Vader, the Emperor, at the Death Star, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid. So we'll get into that. Don't worry. Specifically, I have a question about Brock Purdy for 49ers fans. So anytime you talk about Brock Purdy, Mr. Polarizing Purdy, I call him, the phone lines will light up and the text line will light up. But for now, let's focus on the Warriors as they got a win last night, improved to 20-24, 13-13 at home as they go on this road trip. Again, got the Grizzlies, Hawks, Nets, Sixers, Pacers here. I'm looking at those first 3. Grizzlies, they're 13th in the West. 18-29. Not a good team. Hawks, 20-27. Not a good team. Nets, 19-27. So what I'm saying is you have got to sweep those teams. You have got to. Now, what has shown you, this season that the Warriors are capable of doing that? Nothing. I'm just telling you what has to happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but that is what has to happen if Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob and this squad is going to start believing in this season again. And then you look at the standings overall in the West. You got the T-Wolves, Nuggets, Thunder, Clippers, Kings, Suns, Mavericks, Pelicans at 8, and then you get to the 9 and 10. Both those teams under 500. Lakers 24-25, Jazz 24-25, Rockets at 11, 22 and 24, and then you got the Warriors at 12 at 20 and 24. So I'm looking at those four teams, Lakers, Jazz, Rockets, Warriors. They're all going to be fighting for that 9-10 spot. I feel pretty confident about that. And if it's not there, it's the 7 and 8. Those are all, their high watermark is a play-in team. They haven't shown me otherwise. Lakers, great. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year. You know, Guru keeps telling me, Spadoni, they just need to get into the playoffs. I was like, they need to get to the play-in. They're not that good. Despite having an all-time season from LeBron James at 39 years old and a hell of a season from Anthony Davis, who was out last night with a hip contusion. And then you got the Jazz. I don't know what to make of them. You know, they're 5-5 in their last 10, 24-25. Markkanen, okay, he's good, but they can't win on the road. They're 9-19 on the road. Same goes for Lakers, 7-17. They're not playing at home. They ain't winning. Then the Rockets. Yeah, same thing. And then you got the Warriors in there. They're all just, they all have so many flaws that it's hard for me to really take any of them seriously, specifically the Lakers and the Warriors. Steve Kerr last night. I'm what clicked for his guy, Andrew Wiggins.
I think Wiggs has been better for about a month. We saw it with his defense, with his movement, but I think what's happening now the last few games is, thank you, Raymond, better late than never. I just think Wiggs' defense has been good, like I said, for a month or so, but offensively, with the lineup change, there's a little more space the way we're playing, and we're able to play a little bit faster, and you can see he's getting downhill, getting to the rim. He's doing some things that are very comfortable for him, so he's really starting to get into a good groove.
How Wiggins got his groove back, starring Andrew. Been playing better for the last month, okay. Sure. I mean, it's not like he could have gotten any worse with how he was playing. He was damn near in a malaise out there on the court, just in a fog, if you will, going through the motions half the time. So he could only have gone up. And his play has. You look at Andrew Wiggins has done. Just the last 3 games. Against the Kings last week, 17 points, 6 of 8 shooting. Against the Lakers, 8 of 12, 22 points. Sixers, 8 of 10, 23. Efficiency and decisiveness is what I've been seeing from Andrew Wiggins. The opposite of what he had shown really within the last 2 seasons, which was indecision, bad shots, then he just kind of disappears on the court. But the defenses come along, those assist numbers, hey, last 3 games, 4 assists, 3 assists, 4 assists, that means he's involved. He's trying to get others involved as well. And you can't hide that. That's being a good teammate. That's trying to get others to succeed as well, not just to get yours. Because what we've seen from Wiggins throughout most of his career, he'll give you, 7 to 12 for, 18, 19, 20 points, something like that. A couple rebounds, maybe an assist, but never 4 or 5 assists in a row. No. But if he's getting those assist numbers up, that does change things. Season average is 1.6. And that opens up a new element on the floor. Then you got Andrew Wiggins being a willing passer, not just being a black hole on offense. Massive. Again, is this helping boost his trade value at all? Is his recent play, having you reconsider trading him? 888-957-9570. That's my question to you on this Hump Day, Wednesday morning here in the Bay Area. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni reacting to the Warriors' 119-107 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Has Andrew Wiggins' recent play got you reconsidering trading him at the deadline, or were you never in the trade Andrew Wiggins boat? That is what I am curious about. 209. There was a chance for JK to be number 1 at end of the third. I did one of those things where I shouldn't do. I start reading a text that is kind of incoherent, and I got to be better than that. I pulled a Steiny there, but I didn't do the Steiny thing, who's back, by the way, today, Matt Steinmetz making his triumphant return, new hip and all. Give it to me, Sam. Where's the yay? That's exactly what you were looking for. It's hard to find over there. It's hard to find. I got it. Don't worry.
Yay! Yay!
We'll have many of those today. But I pulled a Steiny there. I got to do from the 209, there was a chance. Steiny does that the best. 562. I believe that area code's from Neptune. Curry showed Embiid who the real MVP was. It's Stephen Curry. Had a good game last night. After having a great game on Saturday. 12 of 17, 37 points, 8 of 13 from beyond the arc. But I want to use that game to gauge Joel Embiid, who's been a monster. Do we all forget he just scored 70 points within the last, week or two? Guy's unbelievable. Clearly hampered. His leg clearly compromised. And if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, like, what are you doing? That guy's got to rest. You're 29 and 17. You have some breathing room. The East stinks. Get that guy some rest. If you don't have him at his top physical condition, you're in jack. I mean, you're probably not anyways against Milwaukee or Boston, but at least you got a puncher's chance with Embiid. By the way, what's going to go on with... I'm curious about Embiid after this season. Because it feels like the Sixers, obviously... Who do they got? Tobias Harris is their number 2. Kelly Oubre. Like, no James Harden, right? Ben Simmons is long gone. What's the move that they're going to make? I wonder. That's a team that's lurking there that needs to make a big splash in a big way. Because really, it's just a 2-horse race in the East. The Knicks, yeah, okay. They've been playing well. Does anyone really think the Knicks are going to beat anyone or get to the conference finals in the East? Really? I'd be shocked. It's Boston and Milwaukee. Cavs are cute. Pacers are cute. I know the Heat are always lingering. They're struggling. We know what the Heat's all about when it comes playoff time. Well, I'm not going to be fooled by, Jimmy Butler needs to go, Eric Spoelstra. No. We know what they're about when push comes to shove. So moves are going to be made at this trade deadline. And Andrew Wiggins may just, in fact, with his recent play, be one of the sexier names at the deadline. And you know what? If that's the case, and his stock is going up and he gets, I'm not going to say a bidding war, but maybe with some of these other contenders that feel are just a piece away, yeah, I would love that if I'm Mike Dunleavy. Now, some might say, and Steve Kerr said it, he's been playing well the last month. Has he shown you enough that you're confident in his play going forward? Because it feels like I know who Andrew Wiggins is for most of his career. Now, he's never been this bad like he was early on in the season and in bits and pieces last year. He's never been that awful. But for the majority, it's been, okay, it's a good player. And he had that one great stretch where he was the second best player on the championship team, the best two-way player on the team, guarding the team's best offensive player. Up for that challenge against the Lukas, the Jaws, the Jaylen Browns, the Jason Tatums, all those guys. There was that stretch. Are we banking he's going to get back to that? Is this it? Are we seeing it now? Is he finally back? What say you? 888-957-9570, the number on this Warriors Wednesday, brought to you by Friedman's Appliance. Anthony Slater joining the morning roast at 8 o'clock, R95.7 The Game. Warriors insider. Can't wait for his breakdown on what he has to say about Andrew Wiggins and the team going forward. 8 days away from the NBA trade deadline. We'll get into some 49ers here on the other side. Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl, biggest story in the Bay. Don't worry, we shall get to it. But the Warriors are at a very interesting crossroads in their season. Shout out Bone Thugs and Harmony. Meet me at the crossroads so you won't get lonely. They got 3 games, to me, coming up here that will either prove that they should go all in this season, and all in may be strong, but maybe prove to either stand pat or sell at the deadline. Again, they got Grizzlies Friday, Hawks Saturday, Nets Monday. All bad teams. Sweep those, and we can talk. Sweep those teams, get back to close to 500, and then you know what? I could wrestle with standing pat at the trade deadline. If Andrew Wiggins continues that play, maybe some of you fans can be like, you know what? If he continues this, maybe he's back. I feel like that's a very risky proposition, though. There's a lot of risk involved there. Because if he is playing well, and then his play dips and you go back into the tank, then it's like, oh, we missed our opportunity. His value as an all-time high, maybe he's not going to get back to that. An all-time high for his career, maybe as high as it's been in recent memory. Let's just say that. More from Kaminga, Draymond, Curry, and more from you at 888-957-9570. 209, this is Dylan. I'm not with trading. I feel market is too high for the Warriors, waiting for Moody and CP. Okay. Do we feel like the Warriors are a championship team? Right now. The answer is no. They don't feel like a championship team. Would they feel like it if they won 3 straight and it would be their 4th and, right before the NBA trade deadline? Do you feel like they're a championship team then? No, but you feel better about their chances at least in the future maybe. But again, you're using a couple week sample size out of, a season that's been mostly bad. See, it's a very tricky situation. I don't envy Mike Dunleavy in this at all. There is a lot of nuance here. And maybe ultimately they just stand pat and you know what? Things could happen in the offseason. You can always move Andrew Wiggins in the offseason if you need to. My whole thing is if he's playing as well as he has in recent memory, maybe just strike while the iron's hot. Maybe you get a desperate team like a Sixers, someone like that, that's willing to, give a couple first-round picks and maybe a guy, I don't know, Tobias Harris, who, by the way, Tobias Harris, who hasn't been awful in that contract. I think he's actually been, good. But a lot of people don't think he's living up to it. When he got paid, they thought he was going to be like a number 3 or a 4 on a championship team. In fairness, they don't really have anyone outside of Joel Embiid that you would really consider a top, of the flight championship player. But Tobias Harris, I was watching the game last night. He had Pajemski on him at least twice. And Pajemski was just bodying him up. And Tobias Harris, who I feel like should be able to isolate him and is a big dude, he's kicked it out. Both times he tried to back him down in the post twice and kicked it out. Pods striking fear into Tobias Harris. Oh boy, maybe Philly does have bigger problems than we all thought. Although they are 29-17. Nick Nurse in his first year over there. Draymond Green on the lineup of him, Wiggs, and Kaminga and how that's working.
I think it's working good. The speed and athleticism out at that unit. A lot of interchangeable parts. Defense, great lane. I think it's going well for us. And then the level that both of those guys are playing at, which is what allows it to work.
More from Dre on building confidence in his shot.
It started with building the confidence and then just trusting it. Catching the ball in rhythm and shooting it. For so many years I stopped shooting in rhythm and then, you catch it, you wait, you look, and then all of a sudden you shoot. There's no rhythm to that shot, And so I think for me, catching the ball in rhythm, being confident in the shot, and then it also helps when your teammates and your coaches are confident in it as well.
Draymond, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc last night, taking 8 shots, 3 of 8 there. 9 points, 6 assists, 6 boards for him. All right. The other big storyline from this game is Jonathan Kaminga. And maybe he's the biggest. You ain't moving that guy. You're seeing the future right there, and the future is now for Jonathan Kaminga and the Golden State Warriors. 26 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 3 steals. Guy was all over the place last night. Dunks left and right. He was up for the challenge. You cannot move off this guy. That is a fact. Not that, a lot of Warriors fans I felt like wanted to move off of him. There's still a minority, I would say, that are still a little peeved on him going to the media, him, airing his grievances, although it was his team doing it. Nonetheless, that rubbed a lot of Warriors fans the wrong way. But you cannot deny his recent play. 7 straight, 20 points or more. Yeah. Jonathan Kaminga's here, ladies and gentlemen. And maybe, just maybe, the Warriors found their missing explosive piece that could revitalize this thing going forward. Not saying, he's going to be this instant championship player, but you have a piece to look forward to post Steph Curry. And I don't think you can sleep on that. That's significant because a lot of dynasties, when they wilt or fade away, they don't have the up-and-coming star. The Spurs had that with Kawhi Leonard. You saw that early, you saw that often, and then what happened? Some friction within that organization, loss of trust, and he gets shipped off to the Great North, we the North, Toronto. They win a title against the Warriors, then the rest is history. Now he's with the Clippers. The Clippers, they're doing pretty well, actually, in the West. 4th seed currently, they're 30-15, but we know about the Clippers. Show me in the playoffs. Show me in the playoffs. Are you going to be healthy when it matters most? Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden. We'll see. We'll see about this break, too, because we've got a quick one, and we'll be right back to more of your calls, more of your texts. Hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. Join in the conversation. Are you keeping Andrew Wiggins, Warriors fans, right now, or are you striking while the iron is hot, moving off that contract? 888-957-9570. That's my question. Plus, I got a question about Brock Purdy as well we're going to get to here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, as the San Francisco 49ers are in the Super Bowl again. Second time within the last 4 years. They are headed to Las Vegas. Morning Roast might be heading to Las Vegas, and you can hang out with the Morning Roast, by the way, next Friday. And we're giving you opportunities starting today to come into the studio to hang out with Shasky, with Bonte, with Lubman, and I, Joe Spadoni. Listen on the other side, and I'm going to tell you how you can do that on 95.7 The Game.
Made to Shine. Love stories from Shane Company customers.
Ephemera, a quarterly newsletter covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Dub Nation, this is Tim Roy, and you're listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Thanks, Tim. Tim Roy right there. My friend. You hadn't even dropped it. Me and Tim go way back. Actually, Tim and I were working on, what was it at the time? Warriors This Week? Not Warriors This Week. What was it called? What was that show called? Basically, it was the weekly Tim Roy. Beyond the Arc. There we go. So it was a weekly show, and it was a live show this time. And it was actually around the NBA trade deadline. And it was the night the league shut down. And it all started happening so damn quick. First, it was Tom Hanks had COVID, and he's chilling in Australia. And then it was Rudy Gobert, who just touched all the microphones and did all that stupid thing. That's because that's what Rudy Gobert does, stupid things. And then he has COVID. And then it was just everyone, oh, we're going to cancel all these games, cancel. And then the league shuts down. And Tim and I, it was just all happening within the span of like that hour. And it was wild. And we were just talking about it. He's like, well, Tim, I don't know when next time I'm going to be talking to you. And lo and behold, you know, I'm not going to say we haven't talked since because we have. I've worked on some preseason games and I had to fill in for the great Sterling Bennett at times. But that's something I will always remember. Working with the great Tim Roy the night the league shut down. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Been talking about the Warriors' 119-107 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Warriors improved to 20-24 on the season. Andrew Wiggins, another good performance, 8 of 10, 23 points. He's been having a good month, a good stretch. Are you keeping Andrew Wiggins right now? Are you standing pat at the trade deadline? Or are you, trying to rip this Band-Aid off, move on from him, go all in on this upcoming summer, and you know what? Just say, I'll ride with Steph, Dre, and Clay for the rest of the season, then we'll see what happens. Because Andrew Wiggins right now, probably your most coveted piece if I'm another team out there. It's not a strong buyer's market at the trade deadline. So Andrew Wiggins, where are you at with him? And Jonathan Kaminga, he ain't getting traded. I'm not even going to bring his name up in the trade talks. 11-19, 7 straight games of 20-plus points. He's figuring it out. You are keeping Jonathan Kaminga for the now and the future. Andrew Wiggins, on the other hand, not sure. 888-957-9570. So we'll continue to take your calls and texts on there, on the Comcast Business text line, on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. And before I broke last break, yeah, that works. I teased how you can have eggs and toast with the roast. Starting today and for the rest of the week, you'll have 2 opportunities to qualify to come to the studio and have breakfast with the morning show. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, Sam Loveman, and here's truly Joe Spadoni. I mean, that's really the main draw right there, am I right? So you're going to have to listen between 7:30 and 8:30 for the rest of the week on the morning roast. And it's going to be, thank you, Steiny, who's back today, by the way, at 10 o'clock. Steiny and Guru. Know the show, 7:30 and 8:30, the morning roast, and you will qualify to come to the studio and have breakfast with the morning show. Eggs and toast with the roast. And we had a whole egg conversation yesterday on the show. And again, I'm not taking it number 1 overall in the draft of eggs and how you prepare them. I think we're sleeping on the hard-boiled, though. Very efficient. You can cut it up, put it in a salad. You get your protein there. If you're into bodybuilding or weightlifting or you're just trying to do strength training, very efficient way to get quick and easy protein, the hard-boiled egg. You can do a lot of them at a time. Just saying, we're sleeping on them. I'm not taking it number one overall. All right? I'm just saying it's an underrated way to prepare an egg. The goat, by the way, it's a fried egg. It's over easy. Easy right there. I get that everyday seasoning from Trader Joe's, which if you haven't got it, fire. Sprinkle a little bit of that on that fried egg. Oh, yeah.
That you do a little like the umami seasoning, too. I'll do that on the eggs. Oh, that's top notch.
Jade likes the everyday everything bagel seasoning, too, which has like sesame seeds, has the garlic in there, the poppy seeds. Very
Anything
strong.
with garlic's a win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm starving now. 5:38. Again, eggs and toast with the roast. Your opportunity to win 7:30 and 8:30 morning show. They got Anthony Slater at 8 o'clock. R95.7 The Game Warriors Insider. You're not going to want to miss that. Benjamin Albright, national NFL reporter, obviously a local guy with the Denver Broncos as well. KOA, Colorado, up there. Knows the stuff inside and out. Get a national perspective on the Super Bowl. Some of the biggest storylines out there. Man. Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. It's pretty unbelievable. And we'll continue to take your calls and text on the Warriors. But I want to pivot now to San Francisco and Kansas City. These are the two best teams in the NFL. They are. You know, you can try to wrap your head around, man, I think Baltimore, they may have had the better regular season. But since the playoffs has started, and that's really all that matters, these are the two best teams. And it's the two best head coaches. Two best quarterbacks? I'm not sure. But Brock Purdy, you know what? And the NFC side, I'm okay with saying that. In the NFC, he has been the best quarterback. So yes, if we're going conference versus conference, I'm okay with saying that. Who else we taking over him right now in the NFC? Matt Stafford? Good run there. Jordan Love? Good game. Mistakes. Young. Jared Goff? Not a solid game. But I'm taking Brock Purdy. And then, don't even get me started in the AFC. I've said this. I've been saying this. Don't you dare compare anyone on this planet at the quarterback position, even Brock Purdy, to Patrick freaking Mahomes. Guy's unbelievable. And if he gets this Super Bowl win, might be sacrilege to say this with only 3 titles, but he would have gone back-to-back and 3 titles within 4 years. He's the second greatest quarterback of all time. Already, if he does that. And he might, by play in and of itself, he might already be there. I don't think anyone has ever, played the quarterback position better than Patrick Mahomes. I'll put it that way. I think he has brought it to new heights. I think he has revolutionized the position. I think he checks every single box that you need. Is he mobile enough? Yes. Is he accurate enough? Yes. Is he strong enough? Yes. Does he have the intangibles? Yes. Is he a great leader? Yes. Every single box that you need to get checked for a franchise quarterback and a Hall of Fame quarterback, he has that. And so he's going to get all the love and adoration. And, a lot of people are going to be taking the Chiefs, although the Niners, again, they're the favorites right now. The wise guys, the sharps, they like the Niners in this game. And I'm kind of inclined to agree with them. My question to you, 49ers faithful, and everyone listening on the pregame show, because we're coast to coast, LA to Chicago, we're national, we're worldwide. 888-957-9570. We know the expectations for Patrick Mahomes year in and year out is to win a Super Bowl and to at the very least get there or get to a conference champion. That's the expectation and standard that he has set. The standard this year for the 49ers was also Super Bowl or bust for a lot of people. And they're here now. Is Brock Purdy now playing with house money? Is there anything in this game that he could do to, you sour on him, 49ers fans? I have a hard time believing that. Even if they lose, you could wrap your mind. Patrick Mahomes on the other side. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Is Brock Purdy playing with house money in this Super Bowl, win or lose? Remember, the house always wins in Vegas. So 888-957-9570. That's my question to you, 49ers fans. Is Brock Purdy playing with house money? We'll take your calls and texts on the other side. One more segment before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Morning Roast up next, but pregame show now on 95.7 The Game.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Welcome back. Pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. One more segment before handing it off to the Morning Roast. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky. Again, Anthony Slater, 8 o'clock for them. Benjamin Albright, 9:20, national NFL reporter, insider. Also tapped into what's going on with the Broncos out in Colorado. Albright, always a good guest on the Morning Roast. And also, 2 opportunities to qualify to come to the studio here, downtown San Francisco. Eggs and toast with the roast. That's what we're calling it. 7:30 and 8:30, know the show, which means they're going to ask a question pertaining to the morning show. It could be a generic question. It could be something, that happened on the show in the morning. It could be anything about the show. You got to be listening and paying attention. But 7:30 and 8:30, your opportunities to qualify to come to the studio and have breakfast with the morning show. So can't wait for that. But for now, we got 10 minutes. And the question I posed to 49er fans and all fans out there is Brock Purdy playing with house money in the Super Bowl? 510. It's a great point. It's a great point, 510, from the Comcast Business Text line. To quote you, the standard for Patrick Mahomes is to make the Super Bowl or at the very least the AFC Championship game. That's his standard. Do you realize how crazy that sounds? And yet he does it every season. I know. It's disgusting. We all wish we had Patrick Mahomes, and only one team does. And it must be very nice and comforting. So that's why when anyone tries to bring up, the Josh Allens and Patrick, no. It's the Patrick Mahomeses, and you should really just say the Patrick Mahomes of the world, because there's not multiple of him. He is one of one. He is an island by himself. He is the top of the top. You have you ever played Mortal Kombat and you have the list of the figures from top to bottom? He's Shao Kahn. All right. He's Shang Tsung, whichever one you're playing. He is the top of the totem pole. And everyone looks above at him. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, all those guys. And yes, 510. It's nuts. 408, Mahomes wins his dynasty. I think it might be a dynasty now. If we're just talking about football, because football I grade on a different curve than other sports with dynasties. There's only been a few back-to-back winners. So if you're trying to do they have to have a three-peat. No. You have to at least get to a couple Super Bowls. I'm going to say 3, maybe 2 if you go back-to-back. But you have to get to a couple and win a couple of them. And right now, they're trying to get their 3rd in the last 4 years. It's pretty damn incredible. And the one time they didn't win was because you had no offensive line help and you were going up against the current, or I should say, the former GOAT. Current, former, Tom Brady. In Tampa. And you were the favorite. By the way, that line, it's still ridiculous how Tom Brady was a home dog in the Super Bowl. Pretty incredible. Scott in Nevada wants to join in on the conversation. What's going on, Scotty? You're on the pregame show.
Hey, how you doing? I just want to talk about how people are not liking what Brock Purdy's doing, and they are going to root for Mahomes because in the NFL, Brock Purdy broke the system. He's like a blue-collar worker, making it big in the NFL. People don't like that because that's not how you're supposed to do it. And I don't get why they don't compare him to Brady in a more sense of fashion. That Brady had all the weapons around him too, right? And Purdy's doing the same thing.
Hold on, Scott. Brady early on did not have the weapons around him that Brock did. I think that was more of a run first, the Corey Dillons of the world, a great defense. It wasn't until 2007, that undefeated year, obviously losing the Giants, where he got the Randy Mosses, the Wes Welkers, and stuff like that. But I understand. Early on, it was a little different for Brady, though. Go ahead.
Okay, fair. But I think, and this is a long shot, but I think if Lamar Jackson played like Brock Purdy, not saying I think if he played like Brock Purdy against the Chiefs, he would have won. Lamar Jackson lost against the Chiefs because he didn't run the ball. Same with Jalen Hurts throughout the season. He barely ran the ball. That's why they did so bad. He's not a very athletic quarterback. He can't run for 100 yards a game. But when he sees the opening, he's smart enough to know, I can't pass it. My receivers are down. I'm going to get sacked if I stay in the pocket any longer. So he takes off, gets 25 yards. That's 25 yards closer to the end zone, just taking away field for free. You know what I mean? That's just a smart quarterback. Brock Purdy is the future of this franchise. He's a leader, too. You see Christian McCaffrey talking about him in the locker room. You know, you see all these guys praise him. And, like, all these people who are rooting against Brock Purdy, that's just, like, jealousy, man. You ever hear, like, when you're on your way up, people root for you because they want to see you do good, but when you're at the top, people don't like you because you remind them of what they could have had, what they didn't chase in their own life. Man, like, I think all the hate with Brock Purdy is fucking stupid. Sorry for cursing on the radio. I don't mean to do that. But
got it. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, well, that's what happens here. It's all right. It's too late. It's all good. It's all good. It happens. It happens. Scott Novato. That's why I wanted a dump button installed in here, but it is what it is. It's all good. I love our callers, though. They're fired up. They're fired up about Brock Purdy. Why shouldn't they be? Why shouldn't they be? It's him versus Patrick Mahomes. It is the evil empire against Luke Skywalker. And I don't know if it's jealousy per se. I just think that they look at this kid and they saw what Jimmy Garoppolo did, and they're just like, oh, anyone can do it, which I think is laughable. What Brock is doing is special. It is magical, maybe. I don't know if you want to use that word. When you say magical, it seems like it's a fluke. I think this team has been the best in the NFC, top to bottom, all year long. But it would be incredible, right? The script, the story. Brock Purdy beating Patrick Mahomes. Like, talk about a lifetime of just whatever you want. That guy, what does Bonte say? Eat for free in the Bay? He's eating for free every single day of the week. All the hard-boiled eggs he wants. Not even close. Scott Novato. So we got, what was my guy? Fabian out in San Jose, Scott Novato. I don't know. Might have to get together our own Doobie Award winners. We got to call it something else in the pregame show. Calls of the year. They're fired up, man. 49ers fans. Why shouldn't you be? You're in the freaking Super Bowl. Here's Brian Baldinger yesterday talking about a key element of Brock Purdy's game that I think is underrated, and it kind of goes with what Scott's talking about, and this is something he has in common with Tom Brady. It's the toughness.
I mean, all you have to do is, take a look at, Ali McNeil just blasting him. He makes the throw over the middle. And, so they see the toughness. They know how tough he is. But I just remember, his first start out there last year against Tampa.
Yeah.
And I was asking Debo, I was just going through the checklist. Can he extend plays? Does he have vision? Does he? He's like, check. What else, Baldy? These guys believed in him before he even got on the field against Miami last year.
That's
just
crazy.
His study habits, what he was like, quiet rookie, studying all the time, digesting the playbook, carving him up, when he's the scout team quarterback. They saw it early on. Now they're seeing it every day. Now they're they're tongue-in-cheek now. Yeah, my game manager, he knows how to,
Right.
They're playing it up, and they'll play it up for 2 weeks here. But I don't think there's any question when you ask Nick Bosa, when you ask Fred, that's their quarterback, and they don't want anybody else.
And Niner fans don't want anybody else right now. So that's why I think he is playing with house money, Brock Purdy. I posed the question to Shassi. He's like, does anyone remember what Eli Manning was like? Well, Eli Manning won. Nick Foles won. I'm not talking about what it looks like in the Super Bowl. I don't care about that. Because if it looks bad, then, you know what? People are going to start to question it. That's why I'm asking if he's playing with house money, if he has a bad performance or not. I say yes, because you're playing Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid on the other side. At this point, Brock Purdy can do no wrong. And people in the media can't have it both ways. Either he's not good enough or he's got too much good talent around him. They can't win either way with this guy. They're going to just sway one direction or the other. And that's, unfortunately, a lot of society these days with any topics, even outside of sports, politics, whatever. But you can't deny that there's a little something special happening here. And we'll continue to monitor it. We are, 11 days now away from the Super Bowl? And again, you don't want to go anywhere else for 49ers Super Bowl coverage. 95.7 The Game's the place to be. Morning Roast up next.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco. Always